Welcome to a well-designed home podcast. I'm your host, Melissa Brunk, Principal Interior Designer at Timeless Designs by Melissa. We are a premier, full-service interior design studio serving Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Iowa Great Lakes, Mankato, and Rochester, Minnesota. Our mission is to create enduring, bespoke homes that celebrate a life well lived. With over 20 years of industry experience, we craft personal havens where every detail reflects the essence of your family, evoking feelings of joy, belonging, and pure delight. Join us as we transform the building and remodeling industry, one home at a time, because there's no place like your home. Welcome to today's podcast, A Well-Designed Home. I am your host, Melissa from Timeless Designs. I am the red shoe wearing interior designer because there's no place like your home. Today we're talking to Amanda from Budget Blinds, and so we're going to talk about shades and blinds and motorization and all sorts of fun things. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Okay, so Amanda, who are you and what is your story?
My name is Amanda Lukey, and I have been working with Budget Blinds as an interior designer for the last 6 years. I go into people's homes. I help them design their window treatments. Window treatments do make or break a living space.
They sure do.
So it is a lot of fun.
I just was meeting with a client and like, well, I don't know if I need draperies. And I said, but it's draperies. So if you have shades and you have draperies, whether they function or not, it's like the jewelry to your outfit.
Absolutely.
It finishes off the space.
Absolutely. We always say that drapery is the soft treatment, but you still should have a hard treatment in the window that is operating.
All right. So let's talk about shades. Let's get right into it.
Sounds good.
Okay. So new products or your favorite products or both?
A lot of items are becoming motorized. And so my favorite products tend to be anything natural. Right now, the trend is very natural fibers, linens, earth tones, creamy tones, neutral tones. And so anything that creates a texture in the window, but yet is just a soft, delicate material is just stunning. And so now that we can motorize a lot of those things, it's even easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you said linen.
Yeah.
So there's polyester people and there's linen people.
Yeah.
So what do we need to know about linen?
Linen is delicate. It's a little softer. Light filters through the material so much easier. And so you actually get the woven design in the material. So for people who like light, I definitely guide them to linen more. Polyester is great for those direct west facing spaces, and they need to block that. It's just a heavier material. Very pretty. It's just heavier.
And it doesn't grow in the summer. So in the Midwest where we are, the humidity, the polyester stays as it is, and linen
tends to stretch, has more give. Yes, polyester will keep its shape a lot more. It's just that it also depends on what the customer is looking for. Right now, we do a lot of non-functioning drapery. So people are wanting the softness around their window spaces, but yet they really serve as a sound buffer as well.
For sure.
A lot of hardwood floors are going in, big spaces, high ceilings. And so when you have sounds that echo, we need that softness for the sound buffer.
Right. Yeah, that's a really good point, is because if you have draperies and you have so many hard surfaces, there's only so many rugs and so many pillows that you can add, but then adding drapery adds another level.
Or people are putting picture frames up that are glass and leather furniture, and so you don't have...
Nothing absorbs the sound.
Right. So drapery comes in so handy for that. And it just finishes the space.
Okay, so shades, anything new on the market?
Yeah, I guess I wouldn't say necessarily new. What I'm surprised with is what is coming back into trends. The classic roller shade is back with a vengeance. And it's so funny because people immediately think of like the white
roller shade of
vinyl.
old.
They have to give the little tug and it like Tom and Jerry. Tom gets stuck in it. And it's not that. There's a lot of really cool textures and colors, light filtering, room darkening. And people are really going back to the simplicity of I want it opened or I want it closed. I want privacy or I don't.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want the maintenance of cleaning it anymore.
Mm.
Like so many times you pick window treatments that are kind of a high maintenance product.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're like, no, I want to look out during the day and I want it closed at night. And so that has surprised me is how much the roller shade is coming back.
So what are the high maintenance? So for people
Wood
listening,
blind, anything that's a blind, anything that can form a shelf as it opens and closes, it's going to collect dust. It's going to be heavy, right? There's a lot of cords operating it. You don't have a lot of options. Like if you go to open them, you've got a stack in your window that's 10 inches.
yeah,
So it really cuts your windows.
they're really meant to be left down.
They
and
are.
Then turned open and closed.
And they're beautiful. They just are high maintenance and they're heavy. And, you know, if you want privacy and you go to close a wood blind, that means it's dark. And there's people who are like, I want to be able to close it but not lose my light. And so that would be probably the product that is petering out. We go into a lot of homes that they're like, see all these wood blinds? Because that was really popular in the late 90s through the early 2000s. And now they're like, get these out. I'm sick of dusting them. I'm sick of cords breaking. I just want something simple, cordless, motorized, you know, that still allows light.
Okay. The easiest.
Roller shade.
Okay.
Right up and down, whether it be the banded shade, the transitional shade, or a classic roller shade. They're both just roller shades. And so nothing can collect dust.
And they have more of a cordless feature where it's not the Tom and Jerry spin.
No.
It's just where you put it is where it stays.
Yes, you don't have to give it the little tug anymore to get it to start going up. And then you don't get to pick where it stops. You just
You just hope for the best.
Yes. Is that where you want it? Who knows? But you can they're effortless. And it's really great for people who have arthritis or they can't reach up anymore. It's just a very low maintenance product. And yet you can still we call the transitional shades like the new age wood blind. You can have that partially open feature and have some view through with no maintenance of dusting them and also get some light filtering through. You could pick a lighter color material and have your light versus losing all of your light like a wood blind. But it's funny because I feel like I'm going against my words because shutters are really popular too. And those are wood blinds. You know, those are wood.
Yeah, but
They just are different.
right.
There's no cords.
For each home, there's a certain application. And so it just
And shutters.
depends.
They're one of my favorites. And we can
I was
motorize
going to ask you,
those.
what is your favorite shutters?
Oh, I do love shutters. I always say they're the Maserati of the window treatment. They are the only product that actually can make your value of your home go up. It is such a sound structure in the house that, and we can motorize them. There's solar panels on them, so you can open the louvers. A lot of these homes have really tall windows, and if they're facing the south or facing the west,
How do you get to them?
we can
motorize it.
motorize them, and they kind of self-charge because they have solar panels on them. So, and we could do specialty shapes. We do cabins with trapezoid windows, and we can do a custom shutter in there, and you can move those louvers. So it's fun.
Nice.
Scary climbing to get to the windows, but it's fun.
But that's not you
It's
installing.
not me. I look at the installers we have, and I'm like, sorry, but have fun.
Here you go. Oh,
I usually
fun.
buy them lunch.
That's a good trade-off.
Right.
Okay, so you do shades, but then you also do draperies
I do, yes.
and the hardware that goes with it.
The hardware that goes with
All of the
it.
pretties.
And, you know, people don't realize everyone will say, I think we want curtains. And it's drapery and it's beautiful. And there's so many options. And it's got its own little science, all the little technical terms that people don't know. And it's
So some of
cute.
them are.
Oh, my favorite.
Let's get a little
I
lady.
know. So most people will have their drapery be a half inch off the floor, right? So looks nice, lays nice. There's no flaring. But if you want it touching the floor just a little, it's called a piddle. But if
Not
you want
a puddle.
but if you want it fully on the floor, it's a puddle. And I'm like, what sweet old lady named that a piddle and a puddle? But it's technical terms, and it's like, so you want it to piddle, okay? But yes, drapery's coming back, and it's a lot of fun, and you just have to go step by step. What color we want, liners we want.
What do you want
type
for
of
the top?
what we want for the top,
Mm-hmm.
rod color, wood, designer metal, what color finial, what style of finial do you want, how many brackets that's going to take, do you want rings,
Mm-hmm.
it's,
How's it going to hang? Does it function? Does it not?
and then if you pick a fabric that it's like, okay, this is known to flare, we need to put a stay pleat in there, we need to make sure it doesn't flare out too much, and some of them, if it's got a lot of embroidery, it's just going to flare.
Mm-hmm.
They're trying to bunch up a lot of material that is
To keep it
bulky.
right where
Yes.
it needs to be.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's amazing how it could just warm up a space.
Oh, yeah.
It's so stunning.
It, like I said, it's just like the jewelry to your outfit. It really just, it super finishes out the room. It just looks like it's completed.
Without having to find a picture,
Mm-hmm.
I feel like around that 2010, everything became so modern. Everybody wanted all of that off,
Mhm.
so the homes were very modern and they got rid of any softness. And so you'd walk into these homes and it's straight lines everywhere. And so, yeah, it's fun to bring back in some warm tones and to bring back in
Coziness.
the softness of drapery.
Mm-hmm.
Have you come across a lot of drapery?
I'm doing a lot of drapery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's good.
Mm-hmm.
It makes me excited.
Yeah.
We just had another extensive drapery class yesterday morning. We bring people in to keep education a top priority, and
I love that.
going through it again, it's like, okay, I've actually caught on a lot.
Uh-huh.
So it's good.
How often do you do the education classes?
We call it family meeting. We have family meeting every Tuesday morning at Budget Blinds with our installers, with our designers. We all just regroup and, Budget Blinds has, 5 full-time office staff, 4 full-time installers. We don't subcontract out, and there's 6 designers.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to be on the same page.
Yeah.
And it makes a well-oiled machine. And so when we need education, our installers are a lot of the times educating us on the product because they just went to install something and it didn't go as planned.
Mm-hmm.
So they educate us on that, or we're educating the installers of how we could do things. But then we will have different vendors come in and educate us on their products all the time. All the time.
How often do new products come out on the market for shades?
I wouldn't even say it's new products.
Or different features, maybe.
Features. Every year there's a new feature. Every year Budget Blinds has a big convention that we go to, and Adam and Tara bring us all, so that's wonderful.
Yeah.
And Adam's main goal is walk around, find the new thing. And so what is it? And this year, the top down, bottom up woven wood came out.
Yes, those are amazing.
know.
I have to say, absolutely
You like
amazing.
them?
Oh, yes.
Okay, good.
So they got installed at a client's home and was looking. I said, I'm pretty sure that's a little wonky there. And he's like, oh, no problem. It was the greatest thing. You flip it on the back, lift the thing, give it a twist, and it's perfect.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing.
But it's a lot of weight. So the fact that I have only one vendor does it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they're exclusive to us at Budget Blinds here in Sioux Falls. And to have a cordless, top down, bottom up woven wood is a heavy material. And then when you line it, typically you go to pull it down and it would just, and they've made a mechanism that we can go both directions. And
so
they're so
great.
pretty. We can't motorize both directions. So if we do motorization on a woven wood, it could just go up from the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, yeah, that was the new thing that came out that I was ecstatic about.
Mm-hmm.
So
Clients love them. They're amazing.
that's good. That's really good.
And I know we were talking because we had something else selected.
Oh.
And so you said woven woods, and I just in my head had the bamboo,
Honey oak
heavy
coloring,
things.
bamboo.
And you're like, just trust me.
Like, breathe,
And
come to the showroom.
yes, they are
They're stunning.
Stunning.
I know. Everybody thinks woven wood and they think this heavy stick bamboo.
These are
dark wood color, and they have upgraded so much. They use natural fibers still, but just fine pieces that are woven together.
It almost looks like
It
grasses.
does.
And it's a light white creamy color, and with
Yes.
the liner on it, it's so soft. It just looks amazing.
That vendor, they have the whites, the creams, the grays. They've done so well at making things not be feeling so heavy. And so I'm like, no, I promise, Melissa, I promise. It looks like a linen, and It does.
It does. They look so good.
Good. I'm
Yeah.
glad.
Yeah.
And the customer's happy. So
Yes.
that makes me even happier.
Yes. Okay, so what is your guys' area that you service?
Oh my. So our territory is huge.
Mhm.
Budget Blinds of Sioux Falls is top 5 in the nation. And so our showroom is stunning. And our territory, because we're just kind of out in the middle of nowhere, right? Technically, we could go right up to about Watertown.
Okay.
And then we circle, you got to think of a big circle.
Uh-huh.
And it comes all the way down. We go into Minnesota, Pipestone. We hit up Okoboji a lot, through Aya, through Sioux City,
Okay.
Yankton, Vermilion. We can go west. I've been as far as Parkston. Um, before we hit Aberdeen has a territory, Pierre has a territory, but our territory is quite large.
Mhm.
So not only is the Sioux Falls Budget Blinds top 5, but with one territory where
Yeah.
the number 1 seed is wonderful. They're great people, but they have a lot of territories and they're over in Wisconsin, but they have multiple territories.
Hmm.
And so it's fun it's fun going to convention because everybody is always like, not only are you guys doing great, but it's with only one territory.
Yeah.
So it's fun. But yeah, we can go far. And there's times people will come in, they're like, oh, you probably don't come to where I am. I'm in Spencer. I'm like, we go there. You know? So that's good.
Yeah.
And I like driving. Doesn't bother me.
Yeah. Spencer's great. Just avoid the traffic in the summer, right?
Yeah, all of it. Okoboji traffic. That's fun. But it's funny because in Okoboji, people will follow us. So I've been followed in Okoboji. So we try to, get 2 or 3 appointments in Okoboji and then
Yep.
send one of our designers out.
Uh-huh.
And people will, like, we had a yard guy come knock on the door while I was at an appointment. Can you come to my house after this? And they will follow our vans
That's
because they're like, you
awesome.
come this far? And I'm like, yeah, I'll come. I have 25 minutes. That's fine. So
I just need 20.
I know, right? So yeah, it's fun. We always just giggle, but you go into such cool homes, everywhere. I don't
Mhm.
think people realize it's not just in one location. It's fun to see different homes and the people who live there and
And the different applications for the different
Absolutely.
products.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. You can take one product and do it so many different ways.
Mm-hmm.
So.
What's the coolest install you guys have ever done?
Oh, gracious. So, it wasn't even necessarily a cool product.
Uh-huh.
But I went to a church here in town and they have a 2-story and their windows face direct east. And so everybody in the fellowship area was getting blasted by the sun. So my poor installers had scaffolding on a second floor and I'm watching them and they're like, you owe us lunch. I'm like, I know. And just watching their ability to do the job, do it so well and put themselves in different positions. I'm like, that is crazy.
When they
insane.
install, they just get to it.
They
and
do.
they do such a great job.
They do.
And they're done.
They're
It's
done. They're
great.
respectful. I get some customers who they're older and they're alone, widowed. And I'm like, now if my installer comes and you need anything else, please just tell him. So I had this sweet old lady once and Brian went to go do her install and he said, can I help you with anything else? And as a joke, she was like, you can bring in my patio furniture. And she was in her mid-90s and he was like, okay. And he just started bringing in all of her furniture. And she's like, I was just kidding. I can call my grandson. And he was like, but I'm here.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm here. And that's something we really try to do is help them any way we can, especially those older people who they can't do things and are relying on others. And so I always tell them, everybody, I'm like, I trust these 4 guys to babysit my kids. Like they are well-dressed. They are respectful. Everybody loves them. It's funny because people will send in reviews and they don't talk about the designers as much.
They talk about
they
the
praise the installers like crazy. And that's a good thing, though. That's such a good thing.
Well, and that's the last touch point of the project. And so to have that be an exceptional experience, that's how you want it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And they operate everything before they leave to make sure it's working properly. We flag it if it's not and get it reordered immediately. So it's just everybody's well taken care of, I feel. And that's why we're local best.
Yeah.
You like that plug?
Yeah. Okay, so for planning, if someone has a remodel, what do they need to think about? And then if someone's building new construction, what do they need to think about?
Absolutely. So we always say give us 6 weeks from order to install. It is across the board. It allows for any hiccups in the ordering process. It allows for a vendor to run out of a material and they need to get it reordered.
Or weather to interrupt delivery.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Mhm.
so we're always across the board. We're not going to promise something huge and then not deliver. So
Mhm.
6 weeks order to install. So if you're doing a remodel, I was just at a client's house and they had me out before they were even started and they
Oh, I
just want them
love
ordered.
that.
Absolutely. They had everything selected. It was a lot of fun, but I could get them ordered. And so when you're ready,
They're
just
ready.
call us.
Mm-hmm.
We'll come and get them installed. We do free install. It works easy. It's smooth. So that's what I like. Get us in before everything's done. Like that way we have the product in.
Yeah.
When it's a new construction, that's where we really consider what are you wanting? Are we wanting motorization? If you are and you have high windows, come talk to us immediately. We need to talk to your electrician because otherwise you're stuck climbing a ladder to recharge these batteries.
And how
And
often do you recharge those batteries?
so typically the vendors will say on average once every 18 months. And I'm like, realistically, once a year.
Hmm.
Once a year.
To climb up on the ladder.
You're going to be
once
climbing a
year.
20-foot ladder. You know, people are building these homes with
Gigantic
windows or just 9 windows on a window wall, which is beautiful. But if you need to cover them, now if they're north facing windows, you probably don't need to cover them. If they're facing the south, the west, it's a heat issue.
Mhm.
And so you're going to need to cover them even though you don't want to. Even if it's just a solar screen. You need to put something on there to protect your furniture, protect your flooring, your
Mhm.
decor, and just help with your heat bill, right?
Right.
Or your AC bill. And so let us come in at the beginning. We don't need to have colors picked, but at this point, we need to come in and talk to your electrician. Let's hardwire it so
work.
you're not climbing it.
Mhm.
And we will talk to the electrician. We will tell your electrician what we need. That way the customer doesn't have to worry about that,
Mhm.
you know, and make it make sense. Like when you have tall windows, motorization is key.
On those tall windows, have you done any like recessed shades and fixtures? Have you seen any of those?
Like what? What are you talking about?
So instead of the headrail being exposed, then it's within.
Oh, yes. Yes. And that was a remodel project that I did where they wanted to hide that roller tube. It was a roller shade,
Mhm.
but they wanted to hide it in the actual the trim work.
Mhm.
And so it just comes out of a little slit and it's got like a pocket housing system, but you can't see it because it's inside the wood
Mhm.
structure. And so it's a little nerve-wracking to measure. Because you also have to take into account how big that roller shade tube is going to be when all the materials around it. So how
Right.
big do I need that pocket? And then
Mhm.
as the roller shade starts coming off the back of the tube, where do I need that slit to start?
Mhm.
You know, like
It's a very much a team collaborative effort.
It involved one of my installers. My manager came out talking with the builder excessively because I'm like, we all need to be in on this. And because then, he created that pocket,
Uh-huh.
which is wonderful. How are my guys supposed to get their drill in there to get that shade installed?
Right.
And so how much of the pocket could he build before the shade was installed?
Mhm.
So yeah, it's a process. It's
Mm.
fun. And when you push the remote and all the shades come down, you didn't even know they were there. And
Yeah.
in this instance, it was just a solar screen. Not a lot of people even want privacy, especially when they live in the country.
Just light
and
filtering.
so they just need that solar screen to come down, shade the space, but they could still look out.
Mhm.
They could still see their view.
Mhm.
And so they just needed protection from the sun
Mhm.
in this application.
We have those at my house.
They're wonderful.
They're so great.
Absolutely. If you don't need the privacy, just do a solar screen. That way you don't have to squint while you're eating supper.
Right. What's going on?
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so what are some things that you guys are working on at Budget Blinds?
Like projects or
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Oh, it's March. Building season is all of a sudden
Full
coming
swing.
in full swing. So each one of I've got a huge drapery project I'm working on. That's a lot of fun. Each one of the designers is working with other designers, and I think there's a lot going on, and it's the beginning phases.
Mhm.
A lot of the home projects that were getting built throughout the wintertime, they're starting to close on those. So I'm finding
Getting ready for
I'm
window
getting back into new
coverings.
construction. December, January, February is a little slower in the new construction
Mhm.
part. It's more remodels and people just needing a few window treatments replaced.
Mhm.
But the bigger projects are coming out of the woodworks where we work with a lot of builders here in town and designers, and it's fun because this is the season where you're starting the bigger projects,
Mhm.
and
Right.
it makes us happy. And the weather's been beautiful, so to get out
And yes.
absolutely. Yep, the parade's coming. So the Parade of Homes is coming. So
Yes.
today I've got to go take a final measure so I can get their products ordered so we can get in for the parade.
That's
I
exciting.
know. It's good.
Yeah. Parade week is always fun, chaotic craziness, but so exciting.
I know. It is fun though.
Uh, is Budget Blinds in Sioux Falls as a whole, do you have any specific goals for this year? What are you working towards?
Oh, I think we always have goals. The funny thing is our goal is always to make every customer happy, to make sure everybody is taken care of. Um, I think each designer has their own personal goals. Um, my goal is always to not have to be um, at a project so much, like let's get as much completed as we can
Mhm.
so that the customer isn't nervous. I overeducate sometimes because I want the customer to understand 100% what they're receiving
For sure.
before. I don't like any surprises. And so that's a big goal of mine, is to make sure I leave a customer and they know exactly what they're getting. They're happy, they're confident, they love what they selected. Um, yeah, I think we all have individual goals as well as a team goal of just we always strive to be better than last year,
Mm. Mhm.
and how do we do that? And that's what we talk about in family meeting on Tuesday mornings is how do we get better? How do we do better? You can always do better. You
Mhm.
can always improve. And so
Mm.
that's what I would say.
Okay. So if someone's looking to either build or remodel, what is the process as far as getting some window coverings?
First, I would say call up Budget Blinds right away and talk to us. Say, this is what I have going on. Open that door of communication. Um, if a customer called me and says, I'm going to be starting a remodel, I would ask, how far are you in the planning of this? If, you don't have paint picked out yet, flooring picked out yet, you know, we need to wait until you at least have some of those colors selected before
Mhm.
we pick window treatments, right?
Right.
And then
Have a starting point.
absolutely. Otherwise I would much rather select a shade fabric based on your paint that you love versus pick a shade color and now you got to go find a paint to go with it,
Mhm.
Um, and then I usually, once they have the paint, the flooring, the covered color, then you have us out. And
Mhm.
as long as you're not changing anything with the window jams, we can measure, we can get a product picked, and we can get it ordered so we have it ready. But always before, a lot of times people will be completed with the project and then have us out. And then that 6 weeks feels really long.
Right, because if you're in town and your
Mhm.
neighbor's just right there,
You're living in a fishbowl.
right?
You are for all to see. Now, some
Right.
people, it doesn't bother them. A lot of people, it does.
Yes.
So I always say, just right when just give us a call. And I'm happy to meet with you. And I mean, obviously, I've worked with you. We discuss more than just window treatment sometimes.
Mhm.
Um, just to have that project come together so artistically is fun.
Mhm.
But that's what I would say is bring us involved. Get us involved sooner rather than later.
Sure. So do customers typically come into the showroom and make selections, or they maybe start there and then you bring the books to them?
A lot of times customers they know what style they want.
Mhm.
And if that's the case, give us a call, talk to me, and I'll let you know, okay, I should go visit your home in the next 3 weeks, or sometimes it's like, you're ready for me now. Let's get you on my schedule and I'll meet you at your home. Um, but I think just opening that door of communication helps us plan accordingly,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
And then making sure you have that 6 weeks. So as you're getting close to things finishing up, don't wait.
Yes. And there's
Um,
some customers where we call and we say, your shades are here and we're not ready yet.
Mhm.
And that's okay. Or we call, or they're calling us. They're like, we're ready for you now. Perfect. We'll put it on your account that you are ready. And once we receive them, we will get them installed.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a lot of excitement. We try to time it perfectly. Every now and then it's perfect.
Oh, yeah.
People are like, we're moving in on Monday. Great. We'll install them Monday afternoon. Rare that happens. But when it does, we feel like we won the game.
Yeah. Construction is such a fluid, moving beast that.
There's a lot of pieces to the puzzle.
Yeah.
And we have to have a lot of grace to each piece because each piece is important.
Mm-hmm.
We always say that window treatments are the cherry on top.
Uh-huh.
Even in a new construction, new customers buy a new house and it's like a make or break touch.
Well, it really personalizes the home so much.
Absolutely.
Right. Okay. So in window coverings, whether it's shades or drapery, what is the most misunderstood piece of the puzzle?
Oh my, that's a good question. Misunderstood. What way do you?
Maybe maintenance or longevity or the function of.
Sure. I think that there's times where people know what they want and I have to break their heart and say it's not possible.
You don't get that.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
Your window's too big.
Yeah.
Your window's
We had
100
that.
and yes,
We had that.
We did.
We did.
It's too big. We can't do it in one piece. Well, I don't want it in 3. We could change this. We can change what we selected. Well, I don't want to do that either. Ooh. So what do you want to do? We can change what we had previously selected to do it in one piece, or we can keep what you wanted, but we're going to have to break it up in 3. Maintenance and cleaning is always a topic. Cords. There's people who are like, I want the top down feature, but I don't want to see cords. Well, the mechanism has to hold on to the top of the shade as it lowers. So
it can't just float.
It can't just float. Unfortunately, gravity does.
We haven't quite figured that piece out.
Cleaning them, how to clean them properly.
And do you educate?
Absolutely. And so does the install team. They do a great job educating. Budget Blinds has a 5-year no questions asked warranty, which is huge. It's exclusive to Budget Blinds nationwide. And we are so thankful to have it because what it is it will cover any stain, water damage, kid damage, Cheeto fingers, dogs chewing on a corner. And so if there is any damage that happens to it, each window treatment in the home gets replaced one time free that you purchased with us.
Interesting.
So that's huge. We've had kids cut the shade with a scissor, color on it with a Sharpie. But Cheeto fingers is a real thing. Dogs chew the corner because they want to see out, or just they got too close to the floor. But that's beneficial. But after that 5-year NQA, if you've used it once, usually it's around a dining room table, a kitchen window that ketchup splatters on, or a slider, the bottom of a shade from the slider. It is a door. If it gets dirty, well, then how do we keep it clean? How do we spot treat? What do I suggest? Things like that.
Okay.
But that's usually, people think they could just spray a normal cleaner on products and have the color not.
Do funny things.
Right. Yes. But
Oh,
the
you
biggest
can't do
one
that?
is just education on the products and what we can't do. Because there's times we can't do it. I've gone to a home where she wanted drapery really bad. And the design of the room is beautiful. It just didn't make sense. It didn't make sense. So I took my little iPad, took a photo, and basically colored on the photo, like, here's your option. And And she was like, I don't know if I like that. What
Mm-hmm.
what else can we do? And she's like, I don't know. I guess I can't have drapery because it would have bulked up behind her door and she didn't have wall space to pull it back. So I'm like, these beautiful windows you put in, you're going to make it so the stack, you'll never have them open.
It's too bad.
It would have been beautiful, but it's just,
Mhm.
it wasn't the right spot. And so I feel like I have to break hearts sometimes. But I'd rather be honest.
Right, and have a fantastic install and application and use than to have them hate it
Right.
every day that they're
You
looking
just
at it and
paid
using it.
you just paid money for a custom product that you don't like the final result. That would be awful. So I'd rather just be honest up front. And then there's times where I feel like I'm honest up front, like this is what it's gonna do. And people are like, I don't care. Really? Okay. Like, as long as you're happy.
Yeah. What's the best thing about what you're doing?
Oh, the people.
Yeah.
I love people. And obviously you can tell I don't have a hard time talking. So they usually block out more time for me because I love to sit and talk. But I love meeting new people. I love going in and seeing homes and how people live, and what is my favorite isn't everybody's favorite, and that's great.
Right, but that's what makes everyone's home unique
Mhm.
and personal to them.
Absolutely.
If it was all the same, it'd be so boring.
Right. I mean, I said I like to drive, so I like going out of town. I like going to the different farms and seeing different farmers, and yet going to retirement homes and meeting the elderly in different nursing homes. And
Mhm.
usually I block off a lot of time for them so that we could talk for way longer than necessary.
Right.
But it's
But
just
they find that, I'm sure, very, very special and
absolutely.
enjoyable.
I do too. They teach me a lot.
Yeah, they do.
So, I know.
Lots of wisdom and
Yes.
advice.
And I work with a lot of artistic people.
Mm.
You got to take a lot of artistic minded thinkers and put them in a room, and don't ask us to brainstorm because you'll get way more than you bargained for.
Right.
It's really fun. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. Awesome. Any pieces of advice for our community?
I don't know. Um, don't hesitate to call us. Don't hesitate to
No, it's never too early.
never too early. No question is silly.
Mm-hmm.
We get people coming in asking questions, bringing in their shades, asking questions. What is your top priority? There's people who the look of the window is more important than the function. And then there's people who are like, I'm function driven. I don't care how it looks, And so don't hesitate to fully reveal what you like and you don't like. It doesn't hurt our feelings. I always tell customers, when I walk into a house, my brain immediately goes to like the top 3 things I think would look really neat in here.
Mm-hmm.
But I always remind them it does not hurt my feelings if you don't like them.
Right.
Don't hesitate to say, yeah, I don't like that. Perfect.
It has to function for you. So if you work nights and you sleep during the day, you probably need blackout.
Well, and it's your home. What makes you the most comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, a lot of times people take our advice, which is great, but there's times where people are like, yeah, that's not the style I go with, and that's fine.
There's many options.
Oh, yeah. Nothing hurts our feelings. I promise. It's just be honest, because otherwise people feel like they get convinced of something
Mm-hmm.
and they didn't really want it.
Yeah, we're never here to push anything on anyone. It's just trying to weed through the millions of options that are out there to find the right one. And if we aren't told what is or isn't good, then we don't have anything to help navigate.
People will walk into our showroom and they're overwhelmed. You've been in our showroom. There's a lot of options. There's a lot of
Lovely things.
lovely things on display, and people walk in and they go, and they kind of get intimidated. And I'm like, remember, you always know what you don't like.
Yes.
So that immediately eliminates over half of these products.
Right.
So don't let it overwhelm you.
Mm-hmm.
You either like it or you don't.
Yeah, I do that with clients. Like, here's the options. Any of them that you don't like, we'll just take them away. And then you dwindle it down, and
There's
there you
usually
go.
a final 2,
Yep.
Mm-hmm. There's a final 2 options. And I always say, sometimes they're different price points. And so you might really like the more expensive one, but you do like the less expensive one. Well, let me price out both.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you what the difference in cost is to the penny. Whatever you decide.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes it's worth it to spend more for what you really loved, and sometimes people are like, "Oh no, I like the other one just fine. I now love that one. It's perfect." You know.
Yeah.
So don't hesitate to ask questions. Don't hesitate to express your concerns.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people in this area that we live, we go from -50 wind chill to 100 degrees in the summertime.
Or
So-
sometimes in a week.
Right? So we have people who are very worried about energy efficiency. And
Yeah,
so
for sure.
they express that a lot. It's funny, we'll go to convention and people will ask what our top 3 sellers are here up in the upper Midwest. And one product that won't go anywhere for us is a cellular shade.
'Cause it's
And
just so great with our fluctuations of temperature.
absolutely, it is the only product proven energy efficient.
Mhm.
And so when you have people that are very concerned with that, well, then that's the direction we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like in the South, how shutters, that's their number
Your
one.
favorite.
My favorite, but they live on a beach.
Right.
So, but it's,
Different
situation.
situation.
We just try to meet everybody's need.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. Okay, so as people are wanting to do some window coverings, shades, draperies, where can they find you?
I am at Budget Blinds out at Dolly Farms.
And website?
It is Budget Blinds of Sioux Falls.
Okay. And your social medias, we'll add those to the show notes and
Facebook,
everything.
Instagram. We have a lot of photos that we have done.
Mm-hmm.
They're wonderful. Our little installers have also become photographers.
Oh,
So if it's
that's
great.
so great.
I know. So yeah, you can see projects. And when I'm in the home and I'm pulling up photos, what's nice is it's not stock photos. We have done these pictures.
Yeah.
So people can see a true application of a product that we have done and our guys have installed. So it's great.
Yeah. Awesome. Anything else?
I don't think so.
Okay. Stop out to Budget Blinds and see Amanda.
Ask Amanda. Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you for coming in. This was so
Thank
great.
you. It was fun to see you again.
Yeah, you too.
Thank you for tuning into a Well-Designed Home podcast. We hope today's episode inspired you to take the next steps towards creating the home of your dreams. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. New episodes are uploaded every Friday afternoon for your listening delight. We'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review to help more listeners discover the show. And while you're at it, sign up for our newsletter at timelessdesignsbymelissa.com to have every episode and other design-related items delivered directly to your inbox. Looking for more resources? Download our complimentary guide, How to Hire the Right Interior Designer, on our website to ensure your next project is a success. Stay connected with us on social media. Follow Timeless Designs by Melissa on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube for behind-the-scenes content, design tips, and so much more. If you're ready to start your own design journey or have questions, reach out to us at concierge@timelessdesignsbymelissa.com. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks again for joining us on a Well-Designed Home podcast. Until next time, here's to making every space a timeless reflection of you.